with COVID-19 being named the official newsmaker of the year, not a person, and my numerous conversations with mostly friendly shop assistants being replaced by just waving at the mostly friendly delivery person on the other side of the gate behind a mask. And of course, the wonderful conference rooms and training rooms being replaced by my laptop screen with black boxes and people's names in it. Well, let's just get that out of the way right up front. I am a big cheerleader for camera on meetings. I want to share some reminders with you about the importance of relationships, human interaction in whatever mode is available. I was recently reminded how passionately I spoke about the importance of relationships in both our personal lives and our professional lives. The person who reminded me was referring to a workshop of mine, probably a good 12 years ago. And looking back now, I don't think at that point I even knew half of exactly how important real relationships are in our lives. I mean, some context, I left corporate after about 23 years and started my own business. And it's those real relationships that saved me. That's the reason why this venture is possible. As always, there's a disclaimer in that we are all different. And the way in which relationships matter to me will be different from how relationships matter to you. My point is, what are we doing right now to ensure that we can continue to build and maintain relationships that's important? If you find yourself working from home or in this hybrid situation, the fact that you always had a good relationship with each of your team members, with each of your clients, that's great. And you were able to see them every couple of days in the office, in the canteen, in a meeting, and that's how things worked. But when last did you see them? And when last were you able to really ask them how they are doing? Share some much needed laughter. In short, how strong is that relationship? So many of us have used the trust equation from the book, The Trusted Advisor, to measure the strength of our relationships with our clients. And why not also use it for our colleagues? So for those who missed that particular workshop, the equation goes as follows. It says that trust equals credibility plus reliability plus intimacy of the relationship divided by self-interest. And those we consider from the perspective of the other person. So what do I think the client thinks of my credibility, my reliability, etc.? So here's a EQ moment. Let's reflect for a moment. If you take a look at your Outlook calendar for the week and just think about the people that you have had meetings with this week, that you interacted with during the course of the week. If a third party had to now come along and interview those people, ask them for a reference on you and basically talk about your trust equation, the credibility, reliability, intimacy of your relationship, and of course that self-interest element that could throw things out of kilter. What would that be? And as Daniel Goleman asks us in one of his videos about social awareness, do you care? Do you care what they would say about you? And do you care to possibly improve on some of the things that they would say? We can choose to keep our relationships transactional, both client relationships and colleague relationships. In some relationships, I think both parties sometimes prefer to keep it that way, as long as you understand that there's a lack of emotional connectedness. There's a lack of commitment, loyalty in that relationship. There's a lack of that sense of belonging that we all want to experience. I had a chat with one of my daughters just this week, about, she was comparing two of her teachers at school. She loves both of the subjects, so she will definitely, put in the work that she has to, but she will put in way more hard work and effort, etc., into the one subject. And it basically boiled down to that relationship with the teacher. So the teacher who seemed to prefer more of a transactional relationship, they will get the homework done, but nothing more. And maybe that's how they prefer that. They do their jobs. It's not as though they are slacking, and they don't have to invest emotionally in each child. But wow, the effort that she will make for the other teacher. And can't we just relate to that perfectly? Okay, so we would like option B. We would like to have meaningful relationships. And yes, it comes with a whole bunch of stuff. And here's the kicker, of course. If you're going to invest in those relationships, it's going to take more energy. It's going to take effort, time here and there, of course. It is going to require trust. I was reading a Get abstract called the Long Distance Teammate, and it said there, the paradox of working remotely is that it requires a lot of trust. You need to rely on people to make things happen, and they need to rely on you, yet you seldom see each other. I think we've all read numerous articles about the impact of Zoom on our relationships and how we start to become more skeptical of things like a longer silence, or the fact that a colleague of ours is not responding and supporting us, especially where cameras are off. So we don't quite know what the other person is busy with. Maybe there's a good reason why they're not responding. But we start telling ourselves stories about why someone maybe is not, they don't have our backs like they used to do. We are all aware of the risks, the dangers of thoughtless or insensitive email responses. This is not new. However, if we add this to regular camera off or regular not being able to meet in person interactions, then a short, thoughtless response because you are really busy can mean that there's disengagement starting, and over time, that will have an impact on some of your solid team members. Once again, going back to the question, how strong are those relationships still? As with anything leadership, it's a choice. I want to have those strong relationships. I want to be a great manager. I want to be better than, or do better than, my previous team leader. And I know it means a bit more effort. I know it means a bit more energy. It also means that I want to focus more on how I question, what powerful questions can I ask, and of course, how I listen. So in the book, Crucial Conversations, there's this one lovely line: every sentence has a history. When your team member or your client shares something with you, be curious, ask them about it, find out more, and acknowledge the fact that they have just shared something with you which may not have been easy for them to do. Okay, I can talk about this for days, and we must all get back to work. So I would like to just share with you a learning that I took from one of Helen Nicholson's sessions, where she said that we have to make an effort so that we are interested and interesting in the interactions we have with others. Let's try that.